Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, chapter 198. When we last left our heroes, we finished with Yonhi's diary, as we learned that Yonhi sent the diary to Il, meaning that Il knew everything from the start. We also found out that Kashi had long since told Il that Soo-Won would kill him. And we get a really, really emotional final words of Il about how he's accepted all of this, acknowledges himself as just a link between kings, that he can never be a good king, which kind of goes to show how bad a system monarchy is. That Kouka kind of has to go between the warmonger, who will kill everyone else on a continent to get power, or Il, who will do nothing. But we'll see how the kingdom works out in the end. But anyway, Yona finishes reading the diary, and she just has to kind of take in all of the info she's learned. And yeah, all that being said, let's jump right on into chapter 198, Member of the Royal Family. Also, because I was a couple of days late, we're using the Little Miss and Good Sir scanlation instead of Evil Twin like we've been using. Which means there will be some name changes, like minor name changes, especially in the spelling, and none of the commentary that Evil Twin keeps bringing in. Anyway, chapter 198, Member of the Royal Family. And we open on, Minsu, I think was his name. If I recall correctly, Yoon had mentioned the Senjuso plant to him. That was like a miracle crop, I think, that was helping restore the Fire Tribe. As I recall, it's been a while since we've covered that storyline. But we see Minsu in like a royal library. Senjuso, and Yoon comes in. Hello. This is still Yoon. It's good to see you. And then like Minsu like stands up, I think, and the cherries like clatters to the ground. The Senjuso you mentioned. I'm sorry, but I really need you to tell me more about it. And Yoon just like looks at him. But I'm looking for medicine to cure a certain disease. I beg of you. Oh, so it was a medicinal crop, not a medicinal plant, not a agricultural one. What kind of disease? I cannot say. My mother could never cure the scarlet disease either. Also, that's one of the differences between the translators. I think it was Crimson Illness in Evil Twin. It's scarlet disease here. Same thing. Which, yeah, it also kind of... Is that why Minsu... Like, has that been Minsu's goal the whole time, to cure the scarlet disease? Like, it might be, now that we know a little bit more about Minsu's family, how his mother was an attendant to Yonhi. I don't know. Anyway, it's not something that medicinal herbs can cure, but if there's any possibility, I have to keep trying. And Yoon kind of stops him. It's not my place to tell you. And Minsu just kind of, looks a little distressed at that. But if I go where the herb is cultivated, they might give me some if I ask. And Minsu asked, really? However, I don't know if I can leave the castle, since I'm part of the group that came here with Yona. And that shocked Minsu. Did he not know? That Yoon came here with Yona? I figured, like, everyone would have known that. You're a companion of the princess? I very clearly did not then. And so Minsu pauses for a moment before he turns around and runs off. I'll be back. We're done talking? And Minsu runs. I must get permission to have him leave the castle. No matter what, we have to obtain the Senjuso. Advisor Kaisuk. And then he looks off and sees the four dragons together. That's... also, I don't quite remember where the Senjuso was, that Yoon can't tell him where it is. Because I thought he had brought it to the Fire Tribe, if I'm not mistaken. But, again, it's been a while since then, so my memories aren't perfect there. But anyway, we see him, Minsu sees the four dragons. And Soo-Won, who is standing in the middle of them, collapsed, presumably due to, the scarlet disease. And Minsu runs up to him. Your Majesty! And it's only then that Minsu realizes he's with the four dragons. This is, and I think that's, I'm trying to judge by the panel there. I think it's Zeno. It might be Shina. Someone with light hair that's drawn as white. But one of the dragons tells him, he fell ill during the troops' military exercises. He forbid us from calling anyone, you see. Minsu thinks this isn't good. We'll draw attention to ourselves if we stay here. Minsu tells them, you need not concern yourself. His Majesty simply lacks sleep. And Shina looks down. He seems to have a headache. Hold on. No, Kija. I was calling Kija and Shina. Fuck. Right? Am I got the names right? I feel very, very, very stupid right now. Fuck. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I got Kija and Shina's, name confused. I guess it has been like 10 chapters since the dragons have done anything. But anyway, he seems to have a headache. As I said, it's from lack of, and Jaeha cuts in. Do you need to take him somewhere? I'll help. And Soo-Won stands up. There's no problem. Please head back. And he just walks off as Minsu runs after him. And Jaeha watches him go. He's picked himself back up. And Zeno responds, he's got some willpower. And something weird just happened with my website. It brought me back to the last chapter for some reason. Anyway, he's got some willpower. And then Jaeha responds, the man who ran over also tried to fool us as if it were nothing. He probably knows something. Of course. Zeno responds, a king affected by a normal disease would be a country's greatest secret. On top of that, it's the confidential scarlet disease. Of course Zeno already knows everything. He's been following the kingdom for centuries. For a normal person, learning about that would lead to a death sentence. And Jaeha turns to watch the two of them go. So they're turning a blind eye to us knowing? They can afford to. Anyone we tell will simply face a death sentence. And Shina mutters out, we've been under watch for a while. And Jaeha responds, no wonder I feel someone's eyes on me. Assassins? And then Jaeha thinks, wait, in that case, could the reason Yona said she wouldn't meet with us or Hawk be because she learned of the king's illness? Zeno responds, maybe so. Since the last is a member of the royal family, she understands how grave that secret is. I don't think she would, because Yona has not seen them, since she found out about, the illness. And then Shina responds, but now we know. Yona doesn't have to carry all the burden by herself. I'm here, because Yona asked me to come with her. I'm glad that, like, the first thing we see after we get out of the flashback is, like, getting to assert the four dragons' confidence in Yona. And Jaeha just responds, that's true. We all started this journey to protect her. And then we come back to Yona, as she puts the diary back in the box she picked it out of, and just looks at it. Yonhi worried about me, King Il's daughter, and I'm glad I could learn even a little bit more about Mother. And then she, like, looks towards the door. Minsu is late. Is he still in the library? And she opens the door, and she runs into a very stern man who kind of reminds me of I think the old Fire Tribe chief. This might be what was the current chief's name? Kyoga? Might be him. Or I think it's just some guy. I think it is just some guy. I carry a message from Minsu. He is busy with unexpected work, therefore you should return to your room. Hugh Lee will accompany you back. And we see this Hugh Lee guy, who's kind of intimidating looking. We can't really see his mouth. He got a big scar on his eye. And Yona looks at him. I'll wait here until Soo-Won returns. Tell Minsu that. The man pauses, and then responds, may I say something? Please refer to him as your majesty. And Yona is, like, wide-eyed for a moment before she quickly collects herself. There's no point to loyalty in words alone. Not sure what that's supposed to mean exactly. Maybe, like, there's no point in, like, acting like she's loyal when everyone knows that she really isn't. I don't know. Anyway, she closes the door behind her. Min-soo's unexpected work. Soo-Won's condition may have worsened. And then elsewhere in the castle, Min-soo finally... Oh, this is actually just later at night, because Min-soo has finally returned. Princess, you've been in the office all this time? It's been 3 days! Min-soo! Yona! You spent 3 days in there? And Yona just laughs. It's okay. I had them bring me food. Also, her hair looks a little... It looks a little neater on page 13 than it did, a few days prior, which is kind of weird, given that she should not have been able to really do much with her hair in that time. But it might just be that one panel, because looking at the next panel, it looks like it's kind of gone back to normal. Besides, there are plenty of books, so I wasn't bored. And Min-soo just thinks she really is related to Lord Soo-Won. And Yona asks, where is Soo-Won? I want to talk to him. Today, emissaries from Southern Kai have arrived. About their dispute with the Earth Tribe? Yes, it's an important conference, so he will not come back here today. Have we known about that? Or is that a new thing? Because I thought most of Kai's conflict was with the Fire Tribe. Back when they were, like, instigating the old Fire Tribe chief to start a rebellion, and then they were still, like, trying to get Fire Tribe land the last time we ran into Kai. Or am I getting my countries confused? No. I was thinking maybe of Zhang, but no, I was thinking of Kai. So yeah, I don't know, it's a little weird. I see. And just then, someone else comes in. Min-soo. And it's, Judo, who's come in. You need to come with me. And Yona looks shocked at his entrance. And Min-soo turns to Yona. I'll be away for a while. I'll go too. Something happened to Soo-Won, right? And Min-soo freezes as Yona starts to lay bare what she knows. And Judo tells someone, please stay back. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be to. But Yona responds, I already know about his illness. As promised, I won't say a word about it to others. Or is there some other problem with me going? And then we see Soo-Won, who is, despite the fact that the emissaries from Southern Kai have arrived, is not in any state to meet with emissaries, unless that was a lie to explain why Soo-Won can't be there. But anyway, Kai-suk arrives, and hands him a little bowl. Your Majesty, your medicine. And Soo-Won tries to sit up. I do not need it. The emissaries from Southern Kai are coming. That medicine will make me tired. So the emissaries were real. Okay. All it does is force me to sleep in order to hide the pain. And he feels like a throb in his head. Pain as if your head is being crushed. Mother managed to withstand this? Sir Kai-suk, my robes. Then he thinks again. To think it could get so bad in a matter of days. Mother became sick at 36 and died at 39. This is far too unexpected. It's just too early. Yeah, because Soo-Won's like, what, 4 or 5 years older than Yona? Who was 16 at the start of the story, maybe he's like 17 by now. So he's like in his early 20s. But also, an important thing to note here is that Yona thought that Yonhee was alive when she arrived in the palace. You know, she asked Soo-Won if his mother was around. Or something to that effect. But she was sick, like, before Kashi died, right? At least around the time Yuhan died. Which means she had been dead she's probably been dead for around a decade by now. And that was just kind of, like, kept secret from the world. Even Yona, who should have still been, you know, a member of the royal family at the time. Which is interesting, unless my timeline is completely off base, which is certainly possible. Anyway. And he, like, clenches, Soo-Won, like, clenches his bedsheet as he tries to rise. Your Majesty. And Soo-Won thinks, not yet. I need to stand up. And he stands up right into Yona. And I love Yona's face here. The, like, dead eyes, the, like... There's a firm... Like, she clearly doesn't care about his pain. At least that's what the expression is implying. She has some reason to talk to him, um, and it's not like concern for his well-being. And the two of them stare each other down, and we get another look at Yona's eyes. She's like determined, and Soo-Won is completely shocked that she's there. And Kai-suk turns to Judo, who is also there. General Judo, why have you brought the princess here? And then he turns to Yona. Princess Yona, please lower your voice. Yona, the contempt in her eyes. Yona's facial expressions are just killing it this chapter. Soo-Won has a headache. Soo-Won, do you really intend on meeting emissaries from another nation in that haggard state? They would be the worst ones to learn of the king's illness, wouldn't they? I just also love this whole time they're having this like serious conversation. Ao is just chilling out on her shoulder with an acorn. What a king right there. You shouldn't attend the conference. And Kai-suk counters, we can't have that happen. The conference is with Kai. It is unthinkable for the king to not meet with them after having them travel all the way to Hiryu Castle. And Soo-Won responds, I wonder. Claiming common sense while risking danger doesn't seem like something that Soo-Won would do. Rather, you should calm yourself and sleep. Lady Yonhee was always confined to bed, but you overwork yourself. And that line really shakes Soo-Won. I'm not entirely sure why the notion that he's overworking himself is a surprise to him. I feel like it's kind of obvious. But he clutches at his head. That is, Minsu is medicine. Yes. And Kai-suk tries to get a control of the situation. Please wait. The emissaries are already here. We can't send them back without meeting the king. And Yona turns back to him. I never said to send them back. You have a member of the royal family right here. Oh, she's asserting her power here. She's just like getting an in of power in the castle. And then we check with the emissaries as they're seated around a table waiting for Soo-Won. How long does he intend to keep us waiting? Is the king of Kouka still not here? We are the noble emissaries of Southern Kai's Lord Chagol. One of the guards tells them, my deepest apologies. Please wait a little longer. You say that, but we've already been kept waiting for a long time. I've gotten sick of the Sky Tribe's throne. And just then, another emissary tells him, hey, he's here. And just then we see Yona's foot as she steps in this, very elaborate, like, royal robe, asserting her status as the emissary of the royal family. And the emissaries just look at her in shock. A woman? What? Not the king? Who are you? And Yona addresses them. Oh no, this is Kai-suk, actually. We apologize for making you wait. This is His Majesty Soo-Won's cousin, Princess Yona. And what the balding emissary asks, where's the king? And Kai-suk responds, His Majesty will not be participating in the conference today. Princess Yona will speak with you in his stead. What impudence! After being made to wait so long, you bring out this girl to speak with us? How disrespectful. Bring out the king. And Judo just kind of takes this silently, as Kai-suk thinks, no matter how strong we become, the kingdom of Kai fundamentally believes that Kouka is beneath them. These negotiations are beyond Princess Yona's abilities. As I thought, all we can do here is buy time and wait for His Majesty to recover. So we see even Kai-suk is still underestimating Soo-Won here, or Yona here, because clearly Yona's gonna like show them all up. That's the way this story is turning. Yona finally speaks. Before being Soo-Won's cousin, I am the daughter of the former King Il. On this occasion, I am here because I wish to be. And the really angry, like bearded, long-haired delegate asks, or thinks to himself, even if they are blood relatives, to refer to the king by name. This girl, does she have that much influence in Kouka? Oh right, she does specifically say Soo-Won instead of His Majesty. Which kind of goes back to that scene with the guard earlier. But really does show that, like, that Yona is not a force to be trifled with. And then another delegate, light-haired one, who I don't think has spoken yet. Should not the leader of the Earth Tribe be here as well? His troops' conduct in Kin Province was unacceptable. And Yona asks, you refer to General Gunte? Of course. After depleting the area's mineral resources, they committed violence and assault upon the villagers. These are clearly aggressive actions. it would not be strange for us to attack in retaliation, and yet we have not received a single apology. This was the last, like, military conflict we had before we came to the castle, right? Again, that was also a long while ago, so, I don't remember all of it exactly, which is kind of embarrassing. But I think I'm right here. And then the one of the delegates slams his fist on the table. We demand an apology. Apologize. Apologize. Oh, right. I remember it now. It was when Gobi came and he kind of instigated the one like governor who had previously instigated the Fire Tribe leader into that whole rebellion. Right. I'm the pieces are coming back into my head very, very slowly. Apologize. And then Judo, alright, I think this might be Judo? Oh yeah, it is. The next line I was reading, was kind of threw me off. After the war with the Qin province, those mineral resources were ours to claim. That war itself could only be called an aggressive act. I mean, Kai definitely started it, as I recall. And Kaisuk looks at this. They're completely looking down on us. I must step in before Princess Yona slips up. And Yona speaks. During that war, I was in a nearby village. And the angry delegate looks at her. After losing the battle, Southern Kai's soldiers forced their way into the village and began killing and plundering in the name of revenge, all against those who had until recently been members of the Qin province under their own country. Are you not aware of this? Oh, she is just, like, calling him out. I am not. There was also human trafficking in Awa, in the Earth Tribe, as well as the use of Nadai in the Water Tribe to turn our citizens into invalids. I have witnessed all of this with my own eyes. Oh, right, Kai wasn't the one in charge of at least the human trafficking, if I recall. And maybe the Nadai, too. Though I'd have to go back to that arc and check. And one of the long-haired delegate counters, what of it? And the balding one kind of looks away. Yes, we have no recollection of such things. I see. No, that's fine. Then I apologize for the tardy report, but Kouka already sank all the ships involved. Furthermore, after putting a stop to the human trafficking and the Nadai sales, we have taken all the Southern Kai merchants and nobles involved into custody. And that gets a rise out of our long-haired friend. What did you say? Oh, so you are aware. I don't quite follow that line there. Because he could just very easily be reacting to, or maybe I can almost track her response to what happened, but I can't quite put it into words there. But either way, she seems to have got him. And everyone is just completely stunned at that. Because the thing that's weird here is all she's done is report Kouka, things that Kouka did. You know, we've arrested the merchants and nobles, we sank the ships. And all he seems to be reacting to is the fact that Kouka has sunk all these ships and arrested all these people. And that doesn't quite seem to imply to me that that means that he was aware. Unless I'm missing something very obvious. I don't know. I don't quite see how this worked. That doesn't seem to be the gotcha that Yona acts like it is. But everyone is just stunned into silence at that, and Yona smiles. Well then, shall we start the conference? Next chapter on November 5th. Okay. So, this is definitely, not the emotional high of the Crimson Illness arc. But it's still pretty good. It's still, on paper is a good opportunity for Yona to show her negotiation skills. It's just it culminates on this gotcha moment that I can't work out at all. I don't follow it even vaguely. Maybe. Okay, so I'm looking at I swapped over to the Evil Twin version. And in that version, Let me read it. All of a sudden, the remnants of South Kai's defeated army raided the village and turned against the people of Kim province who had been their fellow countrymen up to that point. They killed us out of revenge and pillaged the place. Were you aware of it? I didn't know. There are other issues. The slave trade in the city of Awa of the Earth Tribe, people of the Water Tribe who were made invalid through using to die. All of these I have come to witness. And what of it? That's right, these are all stories we had no knowledge of. Is that so? No, it's fine. We sunk the boats that came to attack Kouka Kingdom at the time. We forced the slave trade and the dye distribution to stop, and since we have merchants and aristocrats from South Kai within Kouka Kingdom under custody, I shall provide you with a report even now. And then he says, what did you say? Oh my, did something spring to mind? So this seems to, like, the Evil Twin version seems to imply a greater, role that Kai itself played. You know, we sunk the boats that came to attack Kouka Kingdom at the time implies more of a governmental conflict. Then going back to the other version, Kouka sank all the ships involved in the Little Mistranslation. And then it's just the Southern Kai merchants and nobles involved into custody in Little Miss's version. And then here it's, they just have merchants and aristocrats from South Kai within Kouka Kingdom under custody. I don't know. It still doesn't quite, even in this version, doesn't quite seem to be the gotcha that the narrative thinks it is. So it's still weird. And if someone wants to, you know, explain what I'm missing here, please feel free to do so. But anyway, this chapter, the crux of this chapter is just kind of reminding us, you know, of, given that Yona has been kind of out of the narrative for, while we were off in flashback land, this is kind of just a good point to just reintroduce that she is highly capable in her own right, which, like, we know, but it's nice to see again. Even if the actual mechanisms of that reminder don't entirely hold up all the time. Like, I'm reading this and rereading this and rereading this, and it still just does not follow in any kind of sense to me. How this is the gotcha that Yona acts like it is. Because, like, if I found out that my kingdom's ships had been sunk and nobles had been arrested, you know, even if I didn't know what was going on, I would still, especially if that happened without my knowledge, I think that would still elicit the same reaction that we see here. So I just don't see the gotcha here. I don't know. Hopefully someone can explain it to me, because I'm just not following it. The rest of the chapter works, though. Just conceptually, you know, watching Kaisuk underestimate Yona, and then completely flip his expectations around is good. Just as a concept, even if in execution it is, again, just really, really weird, and I don't think really works. But then we see this Yona Soo-Won scene, and I do really enjoy how unconcerned Yona looks with Soo-Won's health. You know, her biggest worry is Kouka right now, and Soo-Won is just not up for it. So he needs to sit the fuck down and let her handle it. And it's great to see her take that kind of control of the situation. But then, yeah, we also check in with the dragons a little bit. Nothing too big there. We really just get to reaffirm, you know, that they're here for Yona. But they've still kind of just been sitting around ever since we came to the castle. So yeah, hopefully something will come of that in the near future. But yeah, I don't know. This whole castle thing feels kind of like the show is sitting in place and waiting for a next move. And maybe this conference with South Kai will kick off the next move. But right now, everything is stagnant. Stagnant is kind of a harsh word. But it's kind of still, in a way that Yona is rarely still. But yeah, all that being said, I did enjoy the chapter, even if that last section, it just feels really, really off to me. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!